asked this question yesterday, but the answer was not great. Made me try again. I asked that the haven't played a DSTV Premiership game in more than 2 months. Just the mentality switch. Is it something that you have to work on because you're playing continental football quite a lot? That's a different specimen, one would say, compared to when you play league games.
Yeah. Well, it's difficult to speak about that because the reality is we just go one game at a time, and we try to, in fact, not even one day at a time, one session at a time, one match at a time, and we try to win the day. We try to make sure that whatever it is that we have to participate in, we do it to the best of our ability. And if it's a friendly game, we try to win the friendly match. If it's a small-sided game in the training, we try to win that, and that's the mentality we try to instill. And that helps because then you don't have to play tournaments or games or matches in relation to the title or the competition, but you play them with the objectives and the mentality of trying to win the match.
Coach, there's a lot of negativity and complaints about fatigue. I'm not saying it's not true, but
from who?
From all coaches.
Oh,
including yourself.
No, I haven't complained about fatigue.
Okay, but schedule, congested schedule.
Yeah.
Okay.
Too many games.
But isn't there a positive side of seeing how your team is developing at a faster rate?
Yeah, but to develop, you need training also. You need, and we don't have training. Unfortunately, we can't train. Even FIFA break. FIFA break, I had to give a couple of players a couple of days off. I had Bafana players in the national team. I got a couple of injuries, so it was very difficult to even conduct training sessions. But I haven't complained once. No, I haven't complained. I haven't complained about the number of injuries. I've spoken about them. I haven't complained about the number of games. I've spoken about the volume of the games. Because at a club like Sundowns, I know you're going to laugh, but the reality is, who cares? If I start complaining, who's listening and who cares to my complaints? So we have to go on with the business and win games and try to do the best that we can, and that's what we try to do. We have no excuses, and no matter how valid those excuses may be, but we have that mentality where we present no excuses and we try to give the best that we can every single day, because that's what this club deserves, and that's what this club is about, and that's what the supporters of this club deserve. And so we try our level best to make sure that even if it means that I have to play as a striker and Coach Mangoba has to supply as a number 10, and Coach Wendell has to help us in goals, we are prepared for that, and so we are in that space, and we are focused on each and every single game as it comes.
Coach, the red carpet has been rolled out at Lucas Masterpieces Moripe Stadium. Stakes are high. Tshwane Derby. Your thoughts going into this game against SuperSport?
No, good game. I'm happy that we've prepared the stadium for SuperSport United. So we play on a very, very good pitch. And when we play on a good pitch, that's one of the conditions you need for a good game. You need 3 conditions for a good game. You need a good team, which is Mamelodi Sundowns. You need a good pitch, which is, I think now at Lucas we have a very, very good pitch. And then you need a good opponent, which is SuperSport United. And so those 3 conditions for sure put us in a space where we expect a very, very good derby on the weekend.
Coach, you didn't have River yesterday.
Yeah.
And I saw something very interesting with Mkhulise and Alende.
Yeah.
It was reminiscent of a midfield I've seen elsewhere, but
Yeah.
you mentioned that now.
Yeah.
Are you tempted to explore the shapes and that you?
I don't know.
Yesterday?
I don't know yet. No, to be honest, I don't know yet. But you watch too much of the games that I watch, and you listen too much to the press conferences. Let's see what's available. First is to see what's available. We looked at the players that are training today, regen today, so it's not so much. But let's see what's available. We'll have a session tomorrow. I'll have a good look at the games of SuperSport, I've just watched only one. And today they loaded quite a few more games, so I've got a bit of homework. And it's always dependent on that. I have to look at what the opposition does, and it's going to be a difficult game because they play with a very strong midfield 3 that becomes a midfield 2, and maybe even with possibilities of inverted fullbacks that overload and make a midfield 5. So it will be very interesting, and then of course that then determines the 30% of how we decide to play the match.
One last question, because Hand is waiting. Thank you.
Coach, honestly, there's good vibes and mutual admiration between you and Coach Gavin.
Yeah.
I just want to check from a personal point of view, how do you deal with the emotions of having to play and try and beat somebody that you have so much respect for, like Coach Gavin?
I think it's the same for him, and I think it's the same for all the other coaches. Our work is dependent on winning. You know, my job is I have to win football games. I can't be sentimental, and to stay in my job, I have to make sure that I produce the results. Modern society, and maybe even society in general, even from way back, has always been about efficiency and productivity. It's getting worse now. It's getting worse now, and that's why the margins for error are less and less and less as we go with AI. I keep speaking about it, and the only reason it's heightening and it's become more relevant in the modern society is because when you introduce that type of space, you minimize the level or the margins of mistakes. And that's where everyone is. In the big companies, big clubs, big jobs, everything is about productivity, efficiency, and not about emotions. What a robot, the only thing a robot doesn't have as compared to human beings is a heart and feelings. And so, but that's why they are productive. And sometimes that's what you need in a game, is to minus the emotions. But of course, as you rightfully say, he's a coach that even as a young football player growing up in Soweto, he was already coaching 7 Stars, you know, and I've watched his career. He's won so many trophies. He remains an inspiration, you know. He's a very nice guy, a good human being, and that helps too, you know, to be a good coach. And he's someone I've got huge admirations for. But for sure, for 90 minutes, that disappears and we go full throttle and try to get the 3 points.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank